All right, it's December the 8th, and I spent the weekend learning how to use this program called Eagle, which lets you put together a electrical schematic of your project. So the kitchen timer, all the wires and components are all drawn here in the schematic. And this is my first time doing one of these, so it took forever, and it's probably not very good, but I think it's right. And after you make a schematic, you can use Eagle to create a PCB layout. And it's kind of tricky. What happens is you add parts in the schematic and then they'll appear on this window, and you have to rotate them around and move them around and try to make it so the connections aren't crossed as much as possible. So I did the best I could. This is my first time doing it. So it's there's some wires that are crossing, but it's okay. I mean, I'll just try to be careful when I'm soldering everything together, and it should be all right. But here's the parts. This is the microcontroller here. This is the longest chip in there, and then here's the crystal for the microcontroller that sets its clock speed, and here's the programming header, and here's a Schottky diode, and then these guys here, they represent that external DC to DC converter card. I'm just going to have it elevated above the board, and so I can put stuff underneath of it. So I actually might have to move the resistors underneath of it, because I did measure this wrong, and the dot here and the dot here is off by one. This dot here needs to go over here, so I might need to maybe rethink this so it's not quite as wide, but it's still pretty narrow. It's only 38 millimeters this way, so not too bad. But here's the transistor, here's the shift register, and then here's more resistors. And then along this edge are connectors for all the different components, like the buzzers. I actually had the buzzers over here. So the buzzers are connected here, and the shift register is here, or I'm sorry, the 7-segment display is here and down here. And then I've got the rotary encoder. All the connections it needs are here. And then the start button is right down here. So after I worked on that, I printed out all this, got the schematic printout here, and I printed out a big version of the PCB layout and started putting the pieces into the prototyping board. So here's that connector that would be going in like the back of it, and everything would plug into it. But yeah, it all almost fits. Like I said, I messed up the measurement on this DC to DC converter. It's gonna kind of float above here, and I just got some of the pins wrong, the measurement wrong. It's off by one, but it's looking really cool. All right, that's all for today.